Wizard Shroud. I'm so excited for it. Think I'm gonna be losing sleep this week, lol. Wizard, wizard, wizard. Yeah! Okay, let's do the wizard. Alrighty. Okay, I think we just have to start from the beginning, right? Suddenly you find yourself lost in a world of darkness. It's just the same as before. Where am I? I keep walking and walking, but I can't seem to find a single exit. It's so dark, I can't see a thing. Yes, yeah! Like, the story is so interesting. I can't put it down. It's horrible. I can't even tell how far I've walked or how much time has passed. No matter where you go, the scenery around you remains static and unchanging. It's like the darkness has consumed everything, all sense of direction, even the very concept of time itself. Were you to stand perfectly still and hold your breath, the only sound would be that of your own heartbeat. What am I doing? Who am I? You can't remember a thing. Not even your own name. I can't remember anything. Alone in the dark, fear and loneliness overwhelms you. Hello? Is anyone there? If you're there, please say something. No one's here. Was I always alone, or did I lose someone along the way? I don't know. I don't know anything. You soon grow tired of walking, but something spurs you forward in spite of yourself. Maybe I'll find something just up ahead. Your morale in tatters, and your legs are threatening to give out, but you press on regardless. What on earth? Out of nowhere, something seizes you by the leg, threatening to pull you down into inky depths. No! You struggle with all your might, refusing to let the shadow swallow you up. Stop it! Someone help!
誰を
My honey. You!
僕は嫌だ。
Eh?
助けたくない。
That's different. That's definitely different.
自分勝手で、弱くて情けなくて、他人の力を借りなければ何もできない愚か者。潔さも清々しさもないちっぽけで、惨めったらしい甘ったれの人間に、どうして手を差し伸べなければならない。
That is definitely different. What?
君は今、闇に飲み込まれようとしている。なぜかわかるか？それは自分がないからだ。君は自分が誰か分かっていないだろう。君は誰だ？どうした？何も思い出せないのか？
Well, I'm just me.
まったく世話が焼ける。
Interesting. I know. I'm so locked in.
ほら、捕まれ。
Honey, thank you. Okay.
走るぞ。
Right. Are you okay? He was dying. Phew. Do you think we're safe here? Wait, what the? I love Yoshitsugu Matsuoka. Are you okay?
大丈夫なわけないだろう。助けた相手を余裕の表情で追い越した挙句、無理やり引っ張るとは神経がずぶとく鈍感な女だな。少しは男を立てるということを覚えたらどうなんだ。
I want to do his route so bad. He's so funny. Darling, he's baby. I love him. Alright, wow, you were incredible. I'm so impressed.
いや、そんなことないよ。って、それは男をおだてんな、バカ者。褒めときゃ勝手に喜んで調子に乗るだろうという男をバカにした考えが透けて見えるぞ、腹切る女。だいたい今のセリフは脈絡なさすぎて全然おだてられてない。
Is that so? I'm dying. Every time he appears on the screen, my mood just becomes infinitely better because he's so funny. I'm sorry, but I do appreciate you playing along.
君はとんでもなく嫌みったらしい人間だな。
Anyway, thanks for saving me.
アリスだ。
Alice, what a wonderful name. Say, do you know who I am?
自分を有名人か何かだと思っているのか？嫌みったらしいだけでなく、随分と自意識過剰なんだな。僕が君を知っているわけないだろ。
His VA is so perfect. I didn't know Yoshitsugu Matsuoka could do a character like this. I would have become a fan long ago if I knew. He's so good. You don't? But back when the darkness attacked, you called me a selfish, weak, pathetic fool who can't do anything on my own and all that. Or were you not talking to me when you said that?
さあ、どうだろうな。
Not only that, but when you asked, you don't know who you are, correct? He implied that you knew I had amnesia. Doesn't that mean you know more about me than I do?
ああ、そうだな。
I knew it.
君は随分と能天気だな。ついさっきまであんな目に遭っていたというのに、何事もなかったかのようにのほほんと笑っている。
ほほん。Well, yeah, the crisis has been averted.
一難去ってまた一難という言葉を知らないのか？
I don't see any fire around here. Besides, I've got you.
僕が君を助けると思うのか？やれ女性差別だ男女平等だなんだと騒いでおいて、都合の悪い時には女性であることを主張する女性様の典型か君は。
I see. I've heard someone make this exact same argument, except they weren't joking. No, I don't expect you to save me, but as long as you're around, I have nothing to fear. Oh, and obviously, if you're ever in trouble, I'm happy to help you.
君が困ったら？
I'd certainly appreciate it if you lent a hand.
結局そうなるんじゃないか。
He's so silly. Anyway, where are we? Do you know?
他人に頼るのではなく、まずは自分の頭で考えてみたらどうだ？
Like, I hate mean characters, but he is able to make it so funny that I just can't hate him. I love him. He is my favorite. Maybe we're in hell? It's so dark and empty, very dull. But then again, if it was actually hell, I wouldn't have met you. Why? He would perfectly suit hell.
そうだな。ここがどこかわからないけど、少なくとも現実ではない気がする。
If this isn't reality, then perhaps a dream is the next most realistic alternative.
ダジャレか？
What? Seriously though, I think I'm onto something here. Think about it. In a dream, suddenly the impossible is made possible, and anything can happen.
これが夢なら、君は理不尽で不可解な夢の中のキャラクターということになるが？
Or conversely, maybe you're the fictional character.
フィッチドリーム D？
Each Dream D? What? It's like he's always on a falling ego trip. Lol, I love it. He's so amazing. I love him. I cannot wait to see his route and see if we can actually get any romanticness out of it, because it is gonna be hilarious. I can't wait.
君か、それとも僕か。冷めなかった方が消える。アリス。
Who's that?
君の名前だ。いい加減君言い続けるのも鬱陶しいからな。
Sounds a lot like your name though.
一応、ひらがなとカタカナで分けている。
Ah, I see.
こっちに来い。
Are you gonna grab my hand this time? Oh my god! So bold. Huh? Whoa! Hand in hand, you wander through the darkness. Moments earlier, you were overwhelmed with fear, but now the warmth of his hand reassures you. He's the one taking my hand this time! So, where are we going? Thank you for helping me find my way. You're a good person, Alice.
ああ、そうだな。僕ほど優しい人間はいないだろう。そんなノーベル平和賞受賞待ったなしな素晴らしい人間に迷惑をかける愚か者もいるみたいだが。
Now we just need to work on your attitude problem. And so the friendly conversation continues. No ground to walk on, no concept of time, no one else in sight, and yet, with Alice at your side, you don't miss any of it. You walk and walk and walk until there appears before you a giant looking glass. Whoa! Incredible! Is this a crystal? That's funny, I can see my reflection. Is this really me?
ああ、そうだ。その能天気そうで頭の緩そうな見かけも中身もふわふわしているのが君だ。
Fru. Bru is the master of sarcasm. I wish to learn from him. Friendly. Yurika doesn't hear anything she doesn't want to hear. Yurika is the best at ignoring Alice. That's why she's perfect for him.
なんだ気色悪い。自分のアホ面を見てあまりの面白さに笑いが止まらないのか。さすがふわふわ系女子だな。実に頭が悪そうだ。
I love it. I love the voice acting. You know, Alice, I'm glad you're here with me.
は？
I have no memory of myself, so I wouldn't have known this was me. His smile. What smile? He's literally never smiling. What smile? But with you around to show me who I am, I'm able to establish myself, or rather, myself.
鏡に映る姿が自己であることを知るのは自己認識の第一歩だそうだ。鏡によって初めて人は自分自身を客観的に見る手段を得た。
Guess that makes you my mirror.
そうかもな。
You think this mirror is a gateway to another world?
鏡を通り抜けたら別の世界でした。まるでおとぎ話だな。
What do you suppose this world beyond the looking glass is like?
そっくり同じ。ただ、何もかもが逆さまなんじゃないのか？
So they're total opposites, like you and me? Earlier, maybe it was more of a smirk. I see. He wouldn't give us an innocent smile. It has to be a smirk. Yearning to travel to the other side, you reach out to the mirror. And suddenly, it radiates a blinding light. Ah! Oh, just one. When the light fades, the mirror no longer reflects you, but someone else. Who is he? He's dressed entirely in black, like he's draped in all of the world's darkness. You prod the surface of the mirror with your finger, and it ripples like water. Looks like it'll let us through.
アリス。
What's up?
君はこれからどうするつもりだ？
Escape from this world, obviously?
なぜだ？これが夢なら何をしたって意味はないはずだ。
Maybe, or maybe it's a lucid dream, and I can't control the outcome at will. And if that's the case, I'd like to try and brighten this place up a bit.
君は本当に身勝手だな。この夢を見ている人物がそう願っているかどうかなんてわからないだろう。夢は夢だ。楽しい夢を見れば目が覚めた時に辛くなるだけだ。
So you think I should just shrug my shoulders and give up?
このまま目覚めないことも本人にとっては幸せなのかもしれない。
Look, I know I'm just some selfish fro-fro girl, like you just said. But I want this dream to be so much fun that they wake up from it feeling warm and fuzzy. Besides, if I'm literally part of this dream right now, then that means my viewpoint is at least partially the dreamer's too. I mean, think about it. If this is a dream, then you and I share the same consciousness.
そうだな、アリス。君ならできるさ。
Wait, what is with the sweet tone and the sweet smile? What the fuck is this? I've I've missed all the other beginnings. Does Alice always end up in this crystal place? Yes, every time the episode starts, not because this is like we have a prologue like this for both Snow White and the Wizard. But usually what happens is whenever you start a new game in a fresh game, like because I have episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and the epilogue all separate, right? So every time you start fresh in the game, they give you a prologue, and then the next time you start a new game, it's just pick a route immediately. So there's no more prologue. It's only in this episode specifically that we get 2, 1 for each route. Cause earlier with Snow White's, with the Snow White's prologue, the Wizard's crystal was grayed out, so you can't press on it. So you can't do the Wizard's route first until you finish Snow White's and all of his bad endings. So yeah. But yeah, what is this sudden like sweet smile and sweet voice? Darn right I can. Together, you and Alice reach out to the mirror. Then you walk through the glass and jump down into the looking glass world. So, according to my theory from earlier, I guess the looking glass world is like a dream world. Like, it's not real. Gonna skip that so I don't get demonetized. One day, as we were playing yet another game of chess, she said to me, fun fact, when a girl falls in love, it changes her as a person.
内気になったり
That, or sometimes she'll get more easily frustrated. Being in love makes you want to do anything and everything for that special person. Even if the whole world is against you, you still want to help them.
随分と盲目的なんだね
Whose voice is this? The wizard? Tunnel vision comes with the territory, yeah? Naturally, if you're going to turn the world against you, you have to be prepared for the consequences. You have to be strong enough to handle it. But love doesn't make you strong. It just makes you desperate to the point that it changes you.
どんな私にでもなれる
Yep.
ポーンみたいだ
Ah, definitely the wizard then.
ポーンは相手の一番奥まで進むことができれば他の駒になることができる
Right. Keep charging forward and you can turn yourself into a rook, bishop, knight, or even a queen. This is a story about searching one's soul for the truth. And the protagonist is you. Huh. Interesting.
ねえ、漁師さん、マジで奴に頼るんすか？俺、あいつのことうさんくさくてどうも信用できねえんだよな。
Wolfie, my love.
俺も奴のことは一切信用してねえよ。
ならなんでここに来るんすか？
仕方ないだろ。これが俺たちの仕事だ。
そうだけどさ。
まあ、あいつは信用は置けないが、
Who is he?
役には立つやつだぞ。
Mm.
何しろあいつは魔法使いだからな。
もしもーし、いらっしゃいますか？
はいはーい、いますよ。空いてるので勝手に入ってきてください。
じゃ、遠慮なしにっと。お邪魔しまーす。
ようこそ
Oh, hello.
黒猫探偵事務所へ。仕事のご依頼かな？浮気調査から鑑定分析一般事務まで何でもござれ。
He looks really good in that.
ってなんだ、漁師くんと狼くんか。つまらないな。
Yeah.
つまらなくて悪かったな。せっかく仕事の依頼を持ってきてやったってのに。帰るぞ、狼。
ウィース。
ああ、待って待って。お茶でも出すから寄ってってよ。
お茶菓子もよろしく。
ちゃっかりしてるね。で、仕事の依頼って？
Damn right, he's so fine.
お前、アリス・イリカのことは知っているな。
さ
帰るぞ狼。
ラジャー
Roger Dodger.
待って待って、知ってます。アリス・ユリカといえば君の大切な
The
妹姫で
princess.
鏡の国のお姫様のことだよね。
別に大切じゃねえけどな。
で、そのアリス嬢がどうしたの？まさか遺産相続に関する殺人事件にでも巻き込まれたとか？
勘がいいな。
誰が殺されたの？
まだ誰も死んじゃいねえよ。
What?
まだということはこれから起きるかもしれないってことだよね。
What's going on? Bro, we just came in.
ああ、そうだ。おい、狼。
はい。これを見てください。
これは
開けてみろ。
What?
アリス・ユリカ殿。次の満月の晩、私はあなたの命を摘むことになるでしょう。あなたが助かる方法はただ一つ。シンデレラ、白雪、赤ずきん、かぐや、グレーテルの5人の兄弟の中から一人を未来の夫として選ぶこと。
Anyone but Gretel, please.
ご丁寧に切り抜きで作ったんだ。犯人はよほどの暇人と見える。
It looks like the thing Wolfie made. Or Red. Red also made something like that.
それだけか？
随分と変わった脅迫状だね。誰か一人と結ばれなければ殺しますなんて、逆ならまだわからなくもないけど。
ああ、そうだな。
見方によっては恋のキューピッドのようだ。こうして二人は結ばれ、幸せに暮らしましたとさ。めでたしめでたしって
Like
さ。
what you're trying to do to us?
結ばれなきゃ殺されるなんて物騒すぎっす。強制じゃねえっすか。
犯人は焦ってるのかもよ。
何に？
アリス嬢が誰かとハッピーエンドを迎えられないことに。
わけわかんねえ。なんで脅迫状を送るやつがアリスちゃんのハッピーエンドを願ってるんすか？
Ali Sue for Alice Chan is crazy.
それを僕に調べろってことでしょ？
そういうことだ。
ちなみに、それって誰の依頼？漁師くん？
俺がお前に頼ると思うか？
まあ、頼らないよね、君は。
これは他ならぬ鏡の国のお姫様本人の依頼だ。
へえ、そうなんだ。アリス嬢が僕に。彼女は何を考えてるんだろう。
さあな。あいつの考えが分かったら苦労はしない。あいつはまともじゃないからな。
Yup.
自分の妹なのに。
She's crazy.
妹だから言うんだよ。
で、5人の兄弟とアリス嬢の関係は？
So this time all the men are brothers, so it's like Cinderella's route all over again. Except without, because in Cinderella's route, Red wasn't a brother, but this time he is. So again, the relationships between all of them are changing again.
アリス・ユリカのことは知ってるんじゃないのか？
知っているけど、あえて聞いてるんだよ。ほら、確認っていうかさ。
長男のシンデレラ、次男の白雪、三男の赤ずきん、そして四男のかぐや、五男のグレーテル。鏡の国では知らぬ者はいないってほど有名な兄弟だ。
And they're celebrities apparently this time.
彼らは現在アリス家、俺の実家で妹と一緒に暮らしている。
逆ハーレムだね。
めっちゃ卑猥っす。
心配じゃないの？お兄ちゃん。
別に。
ツンデレだ。
ツンデレーっすね。
Aww, お兄ちゃん。
開いた。
一緒に暮らしてるのは全員アリス・ユリカの婚約者だからだ。
What? A reverse harem route in the wizard route? Okay. I had that same dream again. My name is Yurika Arisu, and I'm 19 years old. I live in a mansion with my 5 handsome fiancés. Cinderella, the oldest. Snow White, the second son. Red Riding Hood, the third son. Kaguya, the fourth son. And Gretel, the youngest. I first met them about a year and a half ago. And you're already engaged? To 5 people? At the time I was living in another country, and I only knew of them through my brother's letters. My brother worked as a hunter in a small rural town I had visited several times previously. The 5 brothers were his patients. Patience? Hunters have patience? Could say it's the magical route. I want the reverse harem so bad, so I'm not gonna complain. But I don't understand. Hunters have patience? Because one time, Yoshi mentioned he's trying to become a doctor like his parents, and then suddenly they're hunters. So are hunters doctors? Then he's the doctor to all 5 of the brothers? And then the brothers are now dating his sister. That's a conflict of interest. He could get his medical license revoked for that, assuming he has one. I remember wanting to run out and meet them straight away. But we were divided by a vast ocean, so it wasn't that simple. Eventually, after persuading a lot of people and filling out a lot of paperwork, I finally made it to that town from my past. When I first met them, I didn't know how to feel about it. I was both happy and sad at the same time. I was happy to have met them, but I was also sad to have met them. You see, once upon a time, I had a crush. A crush on a boy I had met just once when I was little. But he was a light in the darkness, and he helped me find myself. So Alice! So when I met the 5 brothers, I knew. They were probably lost in the darkness, just as I had been. What? What? So it's Alice, but Alice is lost in the brothers? Huh. The brothers were really down on their luck. So I talked to my family and begged them to help. Fortunately, my parents were sympathetic to the brothers' plight. As it turned out, they had already taken measures of their own accord. Specifically, adoption paperwork. My father asked me if I wanted to bring them into our family. Since I would be living in the same house as the 5 brothers, he wanted to give me the chance to decline. At this, I was slightly disappointed. Adoption paperwork, so 1 paperwork though. At this, I was slightly disappointed. Surely he wouldn't expect me to decline after coming all the way here? It would make sense if he had given me the final say. Yet the words he used were, the chance to decline. In other words, he wasn't fully on board with the idea himself. If I showed him even the tiniest bit of hesitation, he would change his mind and shut the door in their faces. Of course, I didn't resent my parents for this. It was by their grace alone that we were even having this conversation to begin with. But it was then that I understood. Only I could save them. So I looked my father in the eye with steadfast determination. I'm fine with it. First, we proposed our idea to the eldest son, Cinderella. But Cinderella refused. My father and I didn't understand why. Admittedly, perhaps it was unreasonable to expect them to agree to join our family when they barely knew us. They weren't children after all. They were grown adults with their own agency. I like how they're saying this, but they keep grouping them in the same category. So like, what the fuck? That being said, however, they weren't strong enough to live on their own. Internally, I started to panic. Had only just met the brothers, but at this rate, I'd be torn apart from them. Why does she like them so much? Right around then, my brother finally spoke up for the first time, suggesting the brothers look after me as my fiancés. I was utterly thrown for a loop. My brother and I had lived apart ever since I was young, so he didn't feel much like family. He didn't seem comfortable around me either, so I never imagined he would try and help me. Later, I would learn that he was trying to help the brothers, not me. Apparently, he was closely acquainted with Snow White, who wasn't present at the time. So this time, the brothers, the dudes are brothers. And since and somehow the thing about him meeting Cinderella in the real life is also a real thing. But Cinderella doesn't have siblings. I'm so confused. And since Cinderella already trusted my brother a great deal, he agreed to the proposal. I thought he's not there! I thought he's in a coma. And so my 5 fiancés and I started our new life together in a mansion my parents owned. The parents are fine with me dating 5 guys? We lived happily ever after. If only that was actually the case. While we were now engaged, we still didn't know each other very well, and in the beginning, things were tense. I'd heard a lot about them from my brother, but when I actually met them in person, they were nothing like what I expected. Their ages, hobbies, and interests all varied wildly. Yes, because they're brothers. And now I was expected to share my home with them, so it was kind of a lot. Obviously, I liked them all very much, but I wasn't in love with them. Okay. DID? Because they keep emphasizing them as like being brothers. They, like one entity, they. Adoption paperwork, one adoption paperwork, but there's multiple people. Snow White is not there. Snow White is not there, but yet he can give inputs. And somehow the thing that happened between Ryoshi and Snow White in real life applies to all the brothers. And because Snow White approved of Ryoshi, Cinderella also approved of Ryoshi. The ID? And cause like it's weird that you would suddenly get engaged with 5 people at the same time, but if it's a person with DID, with multiple split personalities, that makes sense. Right? Maybe I'm crazy. However, if I was going to live with them, then I wanted us all to get along, so I actively reached out to them. I adapted myself to their interests and preferences, also they would like me. And I took steps to ensure that they would feel comfortable. I wanted to be the one person who understood them most. And for their part, they appeared to like me too. Once I was comfortable in my new home in the countryside, it was time to start thinking about college. Naturally, there weren't a ton of options out here, so I defaulted to the nearest one. Ideally, I would have liked it for all of 6 of us to attend the same school, but we weren't on the same level GPA-wise. At first, I wasn't looking forward to college, but once I got settled in, it turned out to be pretty fun. And that was where I met my good friend Wolfie. Wolfie was the kind of guy who knew when to stand back and let someone else have the spotlight. If this was a work of fiction, he'd be the protagonist's supportive best friend that he is. When I told him about my current situation, Wolfie carefully positioned himself so he would be able to step in and help me whenever I needed. How kind. It was around then that Gretel started calling me sister out of respect, bro. My brother wasn't comfortable with it, but I didn't mind at all. Initially, my parents were worried about us all living together, but they quickly saw that there was nothing to fear. Before long, they had to leave town on a business trip. They weren't eager to leave their only daughter behind, but they knew my brother was around. Besides, they had important jobs to do. While I was willing to drop everything for the sake of someone I cared about, they were not. And that's how I ended up living with my 5 fiancés in a mansion in the middle of nowhere. Had everything I needed. I was a healthy, active person, and I was good at household chores. Sure, some people might think it immoral for a young woman to share a roof with a bunch of young men, but our engagement, see, engagement, singular, not plural, engagement. Unless it's just a grammatical error. The ID was formally approved by my parents, especially since this is an old game, and back then Amnesia was like one of the most prominent otome games that I know, and they had the idea. So it's not entirely out there for me to suggest this. As far as I was concerned, no one had the right to judge me. I was happy.
Yurika.
I thought you were asleep, babe.
ゆりかさん。
ゆりかちゃん。ゆりか姉さん。
I'm going to die every time he say Nesan. The more time we spent together, the more I grew to love them. Not out of pity or charity, I genuinely fell for them. In fact, I was willing to die for them, girl. Maybe that was merely an emotional exaggeration, but my passion was white hot, burning me from the inside out. I was so sure I knew everything about them. But that was my hubris. While they looked stable at first glance, they were all carrying deep emotional scars that could detonate at the slightest touch. But even then, maybe time, if there was enough of it, could have healed those wounds. Unfortunately, time was one thing they didn't have. One body, one soul. The ID! For sure! They keep mentioning soul lately. For sure! I am locking in my answer, the ID. My love could not be divided, and so I would have to choose. Yeah. There we were in the living room of the Arisu estate, having a heated argument. How did this happen, you ask? Well, it's all started when I received a certain letter in the mail this morning. The envelope bore only my name, no return address, and when I opened it, I found a letter that read something like, "Choose one of the 5 brothers to be your future husband by the next full moon, or I'll kill you." Spelled out in cut-out letters. Alas, I was kind of hoping it would be a love letter. Oh, okay. If they're all together at the same time, I don't think that could be the ID though, because I think from what I've read about the ID, there's only usually one person fronting. Not fronting. What was it? I don't remember the term, but only one person conscious at this at one time, and the others kind of just like stay in the back. So if they're all together, then I guess it couldn't be the ID. If this person is serious, then they're going to try to murder me on the next full moon. So I'm going to have a detective track down the culprit. I explained myself in a calm voice.
だからって、なんでそんなうさんくさいもんに頼るんだよ。
Oh, my battery is dying. Wait, let me charge. Well, despite my best intentions, everyone else seemed to see it as a bad move. Apparently, they had an innate distrust of detectives. Why? No surprise there, I suppose. The brothers were all very private people to some extent or another.
シンデレラ兄さんの言う通りです。ここには警察官である私がいるのですから、心配は無用です。
Interesting.
あなたの身は
Right?
私が守ります。
I wonder what's up. Even Red Riding Hood was opposed to the idea. But Red...
なので、今日からあなたを
Oh my god.
24時間付きっきりで監視させていただきます。
It's like he's drowned all over again. He informed me with a perfectly straight face. He tilted his head like he honestly didn't know why the whole room had gone silent. 24-hour surveillance? Really?
それって
They're awake.
彼女のあんなことやこんなことまで監視するってことだよね。
変態。
Oh, he's blushing so much. How cute. Snow White and Gretel shot him withering looks while Kaguya smiled stiffly.
そういうわけでは。
Blushing, Red shook his head and waved his hands in front of his face.
ま、こいつがこんな調子だし、あんたが他のものに頼りたいって気持ちはわかる。だからって、なんでそこで私立探偵なんだよ。うさんくさい響きしかないだろ。
Cinderella slammed his hands on the table. I don't think we can make such sweeping generalizations about an entire field. Once again, I offered my rebuttal calmly. I knew they liked to keep to themselves, but it wasn't right to make such harsh assumptions about someone they had never even met. Besides, they didn't have a say in this. I had already sent my brother to visit an agency on my behalf. At this stage, there was no going back. After all, the detective was already on his way here as we spoke.
まあ俺は第三者に頼むのもありだと思うよ。
After a moment, Snow White reluctantly backed me up.
なぜですか？
I wonder what their relation with Alice is, though, because I still remember the thing about Snow White looking into the mirror and seeing Alice's face. So, like, it would make sense if Snow White and Red having the same body. That would also explain why Snow White thought he was dreaming, but turns out he's been going outside and leaving the house because he was red at the time. That's why he put on the red cloak. But if that's the case, then why is Alice not part of the brothers? So like 6 personalities instead of 5. Because supposedly Alice is supposed to be there because when Snow White looked into the mirror, he saw Alice's face. So it doesn't make sense.
もしこの脅迫状が本物なら、
え？
俺たちのうちの誰かが犯人ということにもつながるからだよ。
Backed me up, right over a cliff by the looks of it?
まあ、それが一番しっくりきますよね。
It's you, Gretel, isn't it? I don't
なん
trust
だ
you.
な。
Then Gretel and Kaguya piped up at last, fixing me with accusatory looks. Everyone was ganging up on me, and I was starting to feel the pressure. Perhaps Snow White sensed this because he fanned the flames even harder.
脅迫状を送るということは、送った側に何らかの目的があるからだ。わかりやすく言えば、金銭とかね。要求が何であれ、普通は脅迫状を送った側が利益を得ないとおかしい。この脅迫状の送り主はアリスに、死の後の言わず、5人の中から夫を選べ。と、この要求が叶って誰が得をするのかって考えれば、それは俺たち5人のうちの誰かでしかない。何しろ、俺たちはみんな、君のことを好きなんだから。
Why can't we all just do a reverse harem? I'm good with that.
だから、君は俺たちじゃなくて、外部の人間にこの騒ぎの顛末を探らせようとしたんだろ？
Well, I faltered. The room was so rowdy just moments before, but now you could practically hear a pin drop. Snow White had sown the seeds of suspicion in the minds of every single person here. An eternity seemed to pass as the suffocating fog of paranoia hung over us. Then the doorbell rang, breaking the silence at last. Oh.
誰か来たみたいですね。
Red rose from his chair. I'll get it. I stopped him, then hurried out of the living room. After all, it would be rude to keep our visitor waiting. But then again, maybe I just wanted an excuse to get out of there as fast as possible.
すみません。アリスさん、いらっしゃいますか？
The visitor called for me in a crisp voice that cut through the evening air. Who isn't? Obviously, there could only be one person who would visit me at a time like this. But it never hurts to double check. Who knows, maybe it's the culprit, here to stab me the moment I open the door.
あなたのお兄様よりご依頼をいただきました。黒猫探偵事務所のものです。
I unlocked the front door and opened it. Come on in.
どうも。
On the other side was a man in a suit. He inclined his head politely. His reddish brown hair and amber eyes afforded him a gentle air that put me at ease. Somehow I just knew it was safe to trust him. That makes me not trust him. I've been waiting for you, detective. My name is Yurika Arisu.
これはご丁寧なご挨拶をどうも、美しいお嬢さん。僕は魔法使いと言います。
He reached out for a handshake. The wizard? Puzzled, I tentatively clasped his hand in return.
変わった名前でしょ？よく言われます。
That's not a name at all, it's just a job title. But I kept this catty quip to myself. If he wanted to introduce himself as the wizard, that was his prerogative.
早速ですが、ご依頼の件、詳しくお話を聞かせていただきたいのですが。
Oh, of course. Follow me, Mr. Wizard. I led him into the living room. Instantly, the five brothers all turned to look at us. None of them looked very happy to see our visitor, some less so than others.
これは。全く歓迎されてないようですね。
The wizard smiled awkwardly. Please, have a seat. I led him to the sofa, then turned in the direction of the kitchen. But before I could move a muscle...
姉さん、お茶の準備は僕が。
Gretel rose to his feet. He eyed the wizard next to me with deep suspicion.
君がグレーテル君？5人兄弟の末っ子で、アリス・ユリカさんとは生まれた時から共に暮らしているそうで、学業も大層立派な成績だそうですね。
See, wording like that is what makes me convinced it's DID because you've lived with her your whole life, which is impossible considering how Yurika was told about the brothers and then went home and then suddenly Gretel appeared already this big. That's impossible unless it's a split personality. The wizard seemed to know a lot about Gretel. He must have done a background check of some kind.
よくご存知で。
いえいえ、基本的な情報ですから。これくらいは事前に調べておかないと、ことはスムーズに進みませんからね。
そうですか。
With that, Gretel walked off to the kitchen as if to suggest he couldn't possibly care less. Once he was gone, the wizard plunked himself down in a newly vacated chair.
さて、お話をお聞かせ願えますか。
But the problem is they're all moving independently, which is impossible to do if you have DID because it's one body, multiple personalities. It's like the whole thing. So, if Gretel went to get tea, then the body went with Gretel to get tea. Then what the fuck are they gonna talk about with who? As he spoke, he held up the blackmail letter that had set off this entire chain of events. Right. I sat on the sofa and looked at the table. There were now two identical letters lying there. One was the real blackmail letter, and the other was a copy I had given my brother. As you're all aware, I found this letter in our mailbox just this very morning.
ええ、拝見させていただきました。随分と変わった脅迫状ですね。
Yeah.
ちなみに、 あなたは脅迫状の送り主に心当たりは？
I paused to think for a moment, but ultimately shook my head. No.
他の皆さんは？
知らねえよ。
Cinderella spoke as if on behalf of his brothers.
そうですか。
But the body is grabbing Okay, I don't know anymore. I have no theories. The wizard crossed his legs and folded his arms. He aired himself like a confident, competent man. Mr. Wizard, I'd like you to find who sent this to me.
もちろん。僕はそのために呼ばれたのですから。
He smiled brightly.
しかし、あなたがよく知る5人のうちの1人と結ばれれば、命の危機からは脱することができる。こんな脅迫状を送りつけて、犯人は一体何がしたいんでしょうね。
He smiled didn't waver, but his gaze wandered probingly. Cinderella seemed to sense this because he let out a long sigh.
やっぱり、俺たちが怪しいと踏んでるわけだな。
My heart ached as though the crime was my own. After all, I was the one who had summoned a detective to investigate them.
これは、長男のシンデレラさん。やっぱりということはどういうことですか？僕は別に君たちの中に犯人がいるだなんて言ってないですよ。それとも、脅迫状の送り主に心当たりが？
At this, Cinderella fell silent. Not for a lack of anything to say, however. This was a purposeful silence. But the wizard simply ignored him and carried on.
三男の赤ずきんさんはあなたですか？
はい。
警察の方だそうですが、そんな素晴らしい職についている方が身内にいるのでしたら、僕みたいなしがない探偵を頼らなくてもよかったのでは？
それに関しては、私も彼女にそう言いました。ですが。
彼女は探偵である僕を頼りにした。つまり、彼女は警察は信用できないと思っているわけですね。
After Red Riding Hood fell silent, the wizard turned the spotlight on Kaguya beside him.
で、あなたが四男のかぐやさん。なるほど。お聞きした通り、随分と風変わりないでたちですね。
あはは、そう見えますかね。
After seeing how the previous two conversations went, Kaguya was unsurprisingly on guard.
いえ、お似合いだと思いますよ。いつもそのような格好をしているんですか？
ん？せやな。
Kaguya looked confused by the question.
ではあなたがその衣服とお面を身につけていなければ、誰にも気づかれずに行動することも可能なわけですね。
What appeared at first glance to be a mere curveball has now struck Kaguya square in the face.
何？なんそれってつまり僕を疑ってるってことなん？
Kaguya's usual laid-back veneer was threatening to slip.
いえ、例えばの話です、例えばの。
そんな例え話今することなん？
But the wizard gracefully ignored his retort.
それで、君が次男の白雪さんかな。これはまた随分とお綺麗な方だ。
Watch it! You're playing with fire! Snow looks ready to murder someone. Specifically, Snow White did not take kindly to people describing his appearance as pretty or cute.
あなたは学生というわけではなく、働いているわけでもない。いわゆる家事手伝いという肩書きで常に家にいるそうですね。
Snow White turned away and refused to answer.
もしかして先ほどの僕の発言が気に障りましたか？それならばすみません。思ったことを口にしてしまうのが僕の悪い癖でして。
Yikes. Silently, Snow White rose to his feet and left the living room altogether.
尋問は済みましたか？探偵さん？
This one is the most suspicious one. Catch him, detective. Just then, Gretel walked back in, carrying a tray of teacups. Snow was pissed, lol, brah, yeah. With a gallant smile, he placed one on the table in front of the wizard.
これはどうもご丁寧に。
but before the wizard could pick it up, it disappeared in a blur. Gretel had snatched it away, babes. Catch this one, officer! This is the guy! His gallant smile was gone, replaced by the nasty sneer. Gretel was being unspeakably rude, but before I could scold him, the wizard raised a hand to stop me. A smile on his face told me, I'll handle this.
ところであなたは、姉であるアリスゆりかさんのことをとても慕っているそうで。
He quickly changed tack.
そうですよ。それが何か？
いいえ、実に仲のいいご兄弟だと思ったまでですよ。ただちょっとその行為が行き過ぎているという話も小耳に挟みましてね。
The smile vanished from Gretel's face. No surprise there since the wizard had basically implicated him in the crime.
探偵さんは頭で紅茶を飲むことができますか？
In Japanese, he asked, Detective, can you drink water through your head? So he's gonna dunk it. Deep respect is an understatement, lol. He likes to be in close proximity with his sister.
はい？
頭皮から紅茶を摂取したいですか？
He raised the cup of tea he had snatched.
いや、ごく普通に口から味わいたいものです。
Even the wizard couldn't shrug that one off.
ならばさっさと紅茶で口を塞いでください。でないと大やけどをすることになりますよ。
You do like giving people burns, don't you? Fire and whatnot. With a stiff smile, the wizard accepted the teacup from Gretel. From there, Gretel placed the teacup in front of everyone else, and we all had a lovely tea time. If only the mood in the room wasn't quite so oppressive. This was perhaps asking a lot, however, given that the brothers were hotly inclined to entrust the detective. Ultimately, I couldn't deny that all of this was my fault. I was the one who had received the blackmail, and I was the one who had hired a detective. I couldn't even taste my tea. How much do you know about us, Mr. Wizard? Summoning all my courage, I broke the heavy silence.
というと？
Based on the comments you've made, it sounds like you have an overall outline on each of us.
そうですね。長男のシンデレラ、次男の白雪、三男の赤ずきん、そして四男のかぐや、五男のグレーテル。彼らは血のつながった兄弟であり、現在アリス城のお屋敷に揃ってお世話になっているということ。そして、5人の兄弟たちは、それぞれアリス城の婚約者だということ。もちろん結婚できるのはそのうちの一人だけですが、肝心のアリス城は、今の今まで選べないでいた。というところかな。
全部じゃねえか。
まあ、そうかもしれません。
For a moment, I stared down silently at the amber liquid in my cup. But I felt it gazed on me and looked up, directly into a pair of equally amber eyes.
あなたは、犯人は身近にいると思っているんですよね。
My heart skipped a beat. It almost felt like he was accusing me. At this, the dam burst, and the 5 brothers started to turn on each other.
赤ずきん兄さん。そういえばさっき、兄さんは姉さんを一人で守ろうとしましたけど。
Gretel, I swear to God.
私は違います。
どもるのが怪しい。
違いません。それを言うならかぐやさん。なぜあなたはずっと黙っているんですか？
いや、僕はみんなの剣幕に押されてっていうか、僕は違うで。
半笑いなのが怪しいな。
待ってやみんな。いくらなんでもそらやな理由で僕が犯人やって結論付けるのは早いんやないかな。だってほら、僕たちにはそんなことする動機がないわけやし。
動機がない？どうしてそんなことが言えるんですか？
いや
ま、動機って言うなら、一番怪しいのはグレーテルになるよな。
Agreed to draw on my man.
なんで僕なんですか？
なんでってそりゃ、お前のアリスへの執着が常軌を逸しているからだ。
This is definitely not how I imagined the wizard's shroud to go, lol. I agree, however, I way vastly prefer this over like the wizard shroud lovey-dovey I was thinking of. This is so interesting so far. I don't know if I could put it down.
そんなことですか。別にそれは否定しませんけど、
That's
執
true.
着が強すぎるから姉さんを殺すだなんて矛盾していませんか？
それはお前、あれだろ。手に入らないならいっそこの手でってやつだろ。
Finally, someone points out Gretel's obsession. Okay. I know you commented on my last video of Snow White. If you look in the comment sections, there's a part in the timestamp that I titled Sister, Sister, Sister. Please watch that. It was made fun of. His obsession was made fun of in Snow White's Shroud, and it was amazing.
人をヤンデレみたいに言わないでください。
You are!
お前がヤンデレじゃなかったら何なんだ？ヤンヤンか
Yang. Will you stop the family feud? I would hope the answer is yes. Wait, let me open my guide. Yes. That's enough! The next thing I knew, I was shouting.
アリス。
ねえ、そう。
All eyes turned to me. Hell no. I started to tremble. The room was toasty warm, yet somehow I was freezing. Because of me, the men I loved were now at each other's throats. I felt like a monster. The wizard rose to his feet and extended a hand in my direction.
どうやら、アリス嬢は気分が悪いようだ。少し休んだ方がいい。
I apologize. I took his hand, rose from the sofa, and hurried out of the room as if it was on fire. At the top of the stairs, I gazed out at the moon peeking out from behind the clouds and let out a small breath. I had about 5 days until the next full moon. Either I would need to choose one of the 5 brothers as my husband, or I would have to hunt down the culprit and prevent him from harming me. I kept thinking and thinking, but I couldn't come to a decision. I let out another sigh.
アリス嬢
I turned in the direction of the stairs. There I could see the wizard in the darkness, halfway up the stairs.
ご気分の方はどうですか？
I need to go grab more water. I'm out already. I'm sorry. I'm a thirsty girl. Be right back. I'm back. I like the piano though. Oh, that's true. It is nice. Yay. A lot better, thanks. I donned a peachy smile. Sorry for making a scene back there. Should we go back to the living room and continue the discussion? Or would you rather call it a night? As I approached him, he suddenly grabbed me by the arm. Startled, I watched as he leaned in close to me and pressed his forehead to mine. We just met, babe.
熱はないみたいだけど。
He gazed into my eyes. What are you?
あ、熱が出てきた。大丈夫？
I'm fine, fit as a fiddle, raring to go. I hastily pushed him away from me. It is interesting though, in his route, we have 5 people we are engaged to, yet we are pursuing this 6th man. Low-key crazy. 5 was not enough, we need more.
そのようだ。
He laughed cheerfully. Is he teasing me? He totally is, isn't he? I apologize for worrying you. I dropped the little act and let out a sigh. For some reason, it felt like he could see right through me.
いやいや、他のご兄弟もあなたのことを心配していましたよ。
Right.
みんなあなたのことをとても大切に思っているようだ。
Right. I smiled and nodded. I knew they'd care. After all the time we had spent together, it was plain to see. And I cared about them too. That was why I was having such a hard time with this. So, did you find any clues?
そうですね。怪しいといえば皆怪しい。怪しくないといえば皆怪しくない。といったところでしょうか。
Yeah.
つまりは何もわからないということです。
I guess it'll take some time. The smile faded from my face and I headed right back up the stairs again. But back at the landing, I spun around to face him. Mr. Wizard? To be honest with you, I don't care one whit whether I live or die. What truly pains me is that this crisis is destroying their family. I regret ever letting it come to this. Part of me wishes I had simply thrown the letter away. I poured my heart out to him.
それでも遅かれ早かれあの兄弟たちは誰があなたを手に入れるかという戦いを始めたことでしょう。
True.
ただその日が来たのが今日だったというだけのことではないでしょうか。
He spoke as though he were all-knowing. What should I do?
君が誰か一人を選べばすぐに解決するよ。
Made it sound so easy. I get that, really, I do. But I love all of them. I can't possibly choose just one. Rationally speaking, I was being incredibly self-centered and cruel. I was acting as though my feelings were the only one that mattered. I knew I was being selfish and procrastinating on my problems. But right now, I wanted to maintain the status quo. It was a quiet night. In the absence of our voices, there were no sounds to be heard. Maybe he didn't know what to say. After all, he barely knew me. And while I was indeed his client, that didn't mean he wanted to hear my whole life story. I tried to think of some way to change the subject.
君に魔法を見せてあげよう。
Then, out of nowhere, the wizard made me an unusual offer. A spell? As in, a magic spell?
そうだよ。なんてったって僕は魔法使いだからね。
Mm-hmm. He shot me a wink. I thought you were a detective.
探偵は世を忍ぶ仮の姿なのさ。してその正体は、 暗闇に迷える子羊を正しき道に導く魔法使いなのであります。
He reached behind his back and pulled out an oversized wizard hat.
さてさて、ここにありますは赤いまん丸リンゴ。このリンゴを跡形もなく消してしまいましょう。
As he retrieved an apple from God knows where. Is this a magic trick?
そうとも言うね。
Just like that, he readily admitted it was just a magic trick. Aren't you supposed to use a top hat for this? With a deft hand, he showed me the inside of his empty hat, as if to say, no tricks, no gimmicks. Then he pointed the hole towards the ceiling and held the apple over it. Once he was ready, he closed his eyes and began to recite an incantation in the direction of the apple.
あらざるべき場に健全せし、エデンの果実よ。本来あるべき場所に帰りたまえ。リンゴ、アッポーマンサーマヤブラカ。はい。
Shouting, he dropped the apple into the hat. There was a loud thud, as if it had collided with something hard. What was that?
気にしちゃダメですよ。
He smiled stiffly. Maybe this wasn't supposed to happen, babe.
さあ、とくとご覧くださいな。確かに帽子の中に落ちたリンゴは、はい、この通り。
Lol, cute. He's so dumb. He raised the hat with both hands to show me the inside. Sure enough, the apple was nowhere to be seen. However, the wizard's posture was somewhat unnatural. The way he suppressed the midsection of the hat made me suspicious. Maybe there was a mirror or a false bottom in there. Then again, all magic tricks required some sort of sleight of hand, and I didn't want to embarrass him by pointing it out. Bravo! So instead, I applauded his efforts.
拍手が起こるまですごく間があったのが僕としては気になるな。
No, there wasn't. I smiled brightly. Thank you, Mr. Wizard. That was the first time anyone ever performed a magic trick for me, and I really enjoyed it.
なんこれで終わりじゃないですよ、お嬢さん。
He wagged his index finger in my face. Huh? I regarded him dubiously. In response, he donned a meaningful smirk and reached into his hat.
そしてここからは種も仕掛けもある魔法の始まり。
Then he pulled out exactly one half of an apple neatly sliced.
さて、このリンゴ。カットされた部分が見えないように君から見て正面向きにすれば、リンゴは元のまん丸のままに見えますよね。
Sure.
でも、こうして横に90度回すと、半分にカットされているのだから当然半円に見える。さらに90度回せば、赤い部分はまるで見えなくなってしまう。こんな感じに見る角度を変えていくと、まん丸だと思われた赤いリンゴは様々な姿を見せるのさ。
As he spoke, he dropped the half apple back into his hat. Then he held it pointy side up.
そして姿あるものはいつしか消えてしまう。リンゴの物語はここでおしまい。
This time he must have done the trick correctly because there were no weird thudding noises and the apple vanished without a sound.
魔法使いの魔法ショー。これにて終了です。はい、拍手！
He bowed deeply and I clapped. Good job, babes. Reminds me of the phases of the moon when you think about it. The moon has been prevalent in many of the routes. Everything's...
そうだね。そして君が今置かれている現状でもある。
Like, a lot of the deadlines are like the full moon. Then he placed his hat upon my head.
今君に見えているのは、君が殺されるか、兄弟の誰かと家庭を築いているかという二択の未来だ。でも、見方を変えれば世界はガラリと変わる。選択肢は無限に増え、未来もその選択の分枝分かれする。
I can almost forget he killed us. I forgot about it until you mentioned it. Meaning?
言葉のままですよ。犯人は誰かだとか、未来の夫だとか、そんな目先の問題にとらわれてはいけない。君は対極的に、そう、世界を俯瞰すべきなのです。
What? I didn't understand what he was trying to tell me. Then he snickered.
月を見て、アンニュイな気分に浸るだけじゃ道は開けないぞ。ってことさ、アリス・ユリカさん。
In other words, stop throwing yourself a pity party and take action. In that case, could I ask a favor to you?
はい、何でしょう。
Could I accompany you on your investigation?
もちろん。
Evidently, the brothers had all gone back to their bedrooms. Thus, the wizard and I headed straight to Cinderella's room. I had in my indecisive moments, but once I finally did make a decision, I acted on it right away. Cinderella's personal quarters were located in the ballroom on the first floor. You sleep in the ballroom? With elegant chandeliers and plenty of floor space, it was the perfect place to throw a party.
で、なんで俺が一番なんだよ。
Cinderella folded his arms and grumbled.
年の順です。
The wizard smiled and wavered, and he replied without missing a beat.
そう言って、実のとこは、俺が一番怪しいって睨んでるんじゃないのか？
Cinderella looked at him suspiciously.
いえいえ、めっそうもない。
How will you mollify Cinderella's concerns? Let me open that. Flatter him. I guess that would work on him, yeah. Part of the reason we chose to go by age is because I knew you were the best person to ask about this kind of stuff, Cinderella. To prevent this conversation from going in circles, I hastily piped up.
ま、そうだよな。俺が一番頼りになるもんな。
Cinderella nodded gleefully.
で、何が聞きたいんだ？
ご協力ありがとうございます。では、まずは生活パターンをお聞きしたいのと、あとはご兄弟の仲とアリス城との仲もお聞きしたいですね。
日が昇る前に工房に出かけて日没とともに帰宅。風呂入って飯食って、趣味でガラスいじって就寝。その繰り返しだ。兄弟の仲はおおむね良好。ま、そんなに会話も多くはないけどな。ごく普通な兄弟像だろ。で、アリスとは婚約者の間柄だ。以上。
あなたはアリス城のことをどう思っていますか？
好きだよ。それがどうした？
Honey! Aw, Cinderella! I hate that my reaction is the same as Yurika. I do not want to be similar to Yurika at all. It was so sudden, I nearly swooned. However,
それは彼女がお金持ちのお嬢様だからですか？結婚したら逆玉ですよね。
at this, Cinderella quirked the brow.
何が言いたい？
いえね、ただ純粋に気になったんです。あなたたち兄弟のアリス城への思いが本物かどうか。ちなみに、アリス家に厄介になった理由と、婚約者になった理由もお聞かせ願えますか？
住むところがなくなったら、こいつの
Why does it sound like that? He jerked a thumb in my direction without looking at me.
住むところがなくなったら、こいつの
Why did it stop like that?
へえ、なぜ住むところがなくなったんです？
それは。
At this, he faltered.
シンデレラさん。確かあなたの家は、子供の頃はお金持ちだったんですよね。しかし、あなたのお父様は事業に失敗し、その穴を埋めるために闇金にまで手を出してしまった。膨らみ上がった借金を返すあてなどなく、あなたのお父様はお母様と幼いあなたを残し、 海外に高飛びしてしまった。それからの生活はとても苦しかったそうですね。何しろあなたはお金持ちの息子だったんだ。突然の転落人生っぷりはさぞかし答えたでしょう。
Just like how the mansion in... Where was it? The mansion in Snow White's dream went from a mansion to... just like a shack, no?
だから、俺が金目当てにこいつと結婚したいと思ってると？
金目当てなんですか？
Cinderella glanced at me and then spoke in an icy voice.
だとしたら、俺は犯人から外れるな。金目当てだとしたら、こいつを殺すのはおかしいだろ。こいつと結婚しなきゃ、逆玉に乗れねえしな。
確かに。
で、それが今回の事件になんか関係するのか？
今のところはないですね。
じゃあもういいだろう。職人の朝は早いんだ。もう寝かせてくれ。
わかりました。いろいろと有用なお話をお聞かせくださり、ありがとうございます。ではでは、失礼します。
With one hand on his chest, the wizard bowed politely. Sweet dreams, Cinderella. In response, Cinderella smiled softly.
ああ、おやすみ。
Aw, Cinderella. I like him. Not in the fucking woods again. Why are you doing this to me? Oh, okay, Red. Next, we visited Red Riding Hood. He lived in a cabin a short distance from the main estate. Red, you in there? Red, Mr. Wizard is here to see you. No matter how much I knocked, no answer came. The lights were on inside, but I knew Red Riding Hood wasn't the type to hide. If he was in there, he would have answered the door by now. I exchanged a glance with the wizard. He doesn't seem to be in there.
まだ今にいるのかもしれませんね。
In that case, let's hurry back. He's not here either. Unfortunately, when we returned to the living room, Red Riding Hood was nowhere to be seen. Where on earth did he wander off to? Just in case, I checked under the table, but naturally, he wasn't under there. Hey, Mr. Wit. I looked over, but before his name had fully left my lips, I stopped short. He was standing at the window, looking outside. His folded arms and blank expression afforded him a listless air. I admit I was a little annoyed with him for zoning out, considering he was supposed to be helping me. But more than that, I was bewitched by his good looks. He didn't feel quite real, almost like I was looking at a Hollywood actor on the silver screen. 5 brothers weren't enough for Yurika, she just had to go for the private detective as well. The wizard felt my gaze and glanced in my direction.
外にいますね。
He pointed at the window. What? I hurried over and sure enough, I could see Red Riding Hood standing out in the yard, staring at the gates. What is he doing out there? Not only was it winter time, but it was the middle of the night. He had to be freezing his butt off. Wait, but we were just out there. How did we fail to notice him? Did we miss him on our way back inside? Those questions would have to wait. Red, what are you doing out here in the cold? Approaching him from behind, I called out to him.
何やミスアリスどうしたんですか
Cute. He whirled around and started flailing his arms wildly. Girl got a chase. She can't just get men too easy. That is true. She does like the chase. She likes it when they struggle first. Yurika is a predator. I literally just asked you the same thing. I gave him a puzzled look. Then he noticed the wizard standing next to me.
いえ、私は犯人ではありません。
Out of nowhere, he started denying any wrongdoing. How do you respond to Red Riding Hood's claim? Agree with him? Yeah. Evidently, he was in a full-blown panic. I let out a small sigh. I know that, Red. Let's all calm down, okay? I smiled softly at him, and he slowly came to a stop, like a robot running out of battery power.
はい。
So, what are you doing out here? He tucked his hood down low over his eyes, possibly out of embarrassment.
あんな脅迫状が届いたのですから、
What a sweetheart.
今日から庭で警備に当たろうと思いまして。
But it's the middle of the night, and it's winter. I blinked at him, dumbfounded. Make no mistake, Red Riding Hood was a kind-hearted, diligent man, but he lacked, common sense. Ironically, the guy in red is the only dude without red flags, right? Like, even Cinderella can kinda not know what he's thinking, but Red Riding Hood is just a sweet boy with shit's common sense. But he's a good boy. He's a himbo. Besides, if the letter is to be believed, then the culprit won't try anything until the next full moon. This, I felt, was a bulletproof argument.
それは脅迫状を信じればですよね。あれ。
Sorry. I wasn't expecting this rebuttal. In short, Red Riding Hood didn't trust the blackmailer to actually keep their promise. It was a valid point, and one I hadn't considered. I guess you're right.
ですよね。ですから、あなたは自身の身の安全だけを考えていてください。
But
でも、じゃありません。
he looked firmly into my eyes. His expression was so intense, it made me want to bolt. Normally I was the dominant type. Oh, I know, Yurika. I wasn't used to submitting, be it to criticism or anything else.
ミス・アリス、私は。
But before he could finish... Bro, you ruined the moment! Get real! An exaggerated sneeze brought us back to reality.
お話の途中すみませんが、2、3質問してもよろしいでしょうか？
Evidently, the wizard had been waiting for the chance to speak. The way he rubbed his palms together, he looked like a second-rate villain.
はい、どうぞ。
Caught off guard, Red smiled stiffly and stepped away from me. It was obvious he was flustered.
赤ずきんさん、あなたとアリス嬢は婚約者である。これは間違いないですか？
婚約者
Bed roped. Whoa there, buddy. Rule number 1, never underestimate the power of Red Riding Hood's dirty mind. Bad boy.
すみません。ついうっかり噛んでしまいました。婚約者ですね。その通りです。私は彼女の婚約者で間違いありません。
Blushing beet red, he struggled to recover.
そのことにあなたは不満を持っている？
不満だなんて。これはこのお屋敷に私のようなものを置いてくれたミス・アリスのお父上が決めたことですから。
Bro, we were just praising you. It's okay. It's kind of endearing. Just a little bit. It's okay. I can accept this flaw. Like Cinderella, Red Riding Hood made mention of my father. My father worked as a doctor at the university hospital. See? Now it's doctor again. Because sometimes they say the parents are hunters, and sometimes they say the parents are doctors. I just don't know what to think. Which one is it? My father worked as a doctor at the university hospital. He was a quiet, virtuous man with eccentric taste and an irresponsible streak. It was he who enabled me to live with the 5 brothers, and it was he who approved our engagement. I had expected the next question to center on that subject, but as it turned out, I was slightly off.
5人の兄弟全員がアリス嬢の婚約者であることに少しでもおかしさを感じませんか？
それもミス・アリスのお父上が決めたことですから。
なるほど。ではあなたは彼女のお父様がそう決めたからそうしてるだけであって、実のところ彼女のことは特に好いてはいないと。
それはありえません。
Aww. Red Riding Hood denied it loudly. Our eyes met.
ありえません。
Aw, honey. Then he averted his gaze.
では、できれば結ばれたいと考えている？
He's so cute, guys! His face flushed all over again, and he hung his head to escape my gaze. Then, after a long silence,
私には
Aw,
彼女と結ばれる資格はありません。ですから、それに値する男になる必要があるのです。
sweetie!
あなたの身は私が必ず守ります。守らなければならないんです。
He mumbled under his breath. Aw, Red! He was so shy and sweet and sincere. I loved him to bits.
守ることに固執しているんですね。
He's so cute.
守るといえば約束でしょうか。
Oh, this is a callback to Red's route because he didn't keep his promise to his mom and went outside the house. At this, the blood drained from Red's face. Meanwhile, the wizard continued his merciless interrogation.
あなたは昔、嘘をついたことが原因で人が離れてしまった経験があるとお聞きしましたが、それは本当でしょうか？
And he also lied about being grandma's grandchild to Wolfie.
黙秘ですか。
Yeah.
わかりました。ではもう一つ質問なのですが、あなたは警察のお仕事をされているわけですが、普段はどういったことを？
いろいろです。
いろいろとは？
企業秘密です。
Mr. Wizard, Red's not really at liberty to discuss his work. Hastily cut in. Hastily. He cares a lot about protecting the privacy of the citizens.
そうですか。それならば仕方ありませんね。ではあなたの所属だけでも。
At this, Red finally seemed to concede.
警視庁捜査一課の赤ずきんです。
He answered matter-of-factly.
ありがとうございます。それでは今日はこの辺りで。お仕事頑張ってください。
Red turned his back to us, his expression hard. Please don't get pneumonia or anything, okay? I called out to him.
大丈夫です。ミス・アリスも気をつけて。
Such a good boy. Will do.
おやすみなさい。
Good night, Red. Next up, Kaguya, the fourth son. We headed over to a single-story building a short distance from the mansion. We probably should have come straight here instead of looking for Red, but I wasn't thinking. The sign out front read the bamboo house, literally Kaguya's place, huh?
はい。
Kaguya called out from behind the lattice door. Red, don't be sad. I know I want to hug him. He's such a good boy. Sorry to bother you. It's me, Yurika Arisu. At this, I heard him reach for the lock. However...
兄さんお聞きしたいことがあるのですが、お時間少々よろしいですか？
Kaguya froze. Please, Kaguya, we just want to talk to you if that's okay. Desperately, I called out to him before he could ghost us. He does ghost people a
よ
lot.。
で、聞きたいことっちゅうのは何ですか？僕が一番怪しいってことですか？
He asked before the wizard could get a word in edgewise.
いえいえ、そうではなく。とりあえず考えをまとめたいので、皆さんからいろいろお聞きしているだけなんですよ。
The wizard continued to smile unflinchingly.
ヒーさんと一緒に？
彼女のたっての願いでして。
そうなんや。ほんならどうぞ。
Likewise, Kaguya maintained a smile on his own. For some reason, this dueling smiles thing was really making me uncomfortable.
まず、あなたは普段何をしているんですか？
喫茶店でウェイターの仕事をやってます。商店街の中心に変わった外観の店があるんやけど、そこの店主が身寄りのない僕を置いてくれたんや。
So what happened to us in his route? Kaguya looked at me and I nodded.
あなたはアリス城と婚約者の間柄ということは間違いないですか？
せやで。
そのことについて不満は？
別にないな。
他の兄弟を邪魔だと思ったことは？
At this, Kaguya lost steam and fell silent. Rarer still, he stopped smiling, but suggested he was deeply opposed to the question. After a long silence, he let out a sigh.
僕らは血を分けた兄弟や。いくら一人の女性を取り合うような状況に置かれているとはいえ、邪魔だから排除するとか考えたことはないで。
Good answer.
それは僕だけやない。みんなもそうや。
なるほど。あなた自身はそうかもしれない。でも、他の兄弟がどう思っているのかまで、あなたははっきりと言い切れるのですか？
まあ、言い切れるで。なぜなら、そんなことをしたら、キーさんが悲しむからな。
He grinned at me. Aw, Kaguya. Bonjour, bere. Bonjour, Annie. Yahoo! How was your sleep? Are you good? Are you feeling good? Good enough to swim? He was so mature and sensitive and considerate. I loved him dearly.
失礼しました。そうですね。あなた方が婚約者であるアリス城を手にかけることは考えにくいことです。無礼をお許しください。
I'm ready to annoy you. God, I can't wait to be annoyed. Yippee!
ええて。疑われるのはしゃあないしな。でも、証拠もなく決めつけるのはやめてえな。
Kaguya smiled stiffly.
もちろんです。では、最後にもう一つだけ。
The wizard held up his index finger.
あなたは、児童養護施設で過ごしていた時期があるとのことですが、それはどういった理由でなんでしょうか？
Yeah, a lot of bad things happened in the orphanage.
あなた方は兄弟であるのに、なぜあなただけが親戚の家を転々とした挙句、施設に預けられたのか？
At this, Kaguya's mask slipped, and the smile fell from his face entirely. Will you let the wizard pry into Kaguya's past? Not gonna lie, I'm kind of curious what would happen if we said yes. So I'm gonna say yes, and then we're gonna reload. Sorry, I'm curious. The wizard was trying to probe into his past. In response, both of us fell silent. The only sound was that of our breathing. But in the end, it was Kaguya who broke the heavy silence.
それは、どうしても答えなあかんことかな。
一応、任意です。
Kaguya smiled softly. Perhaps he was relieved to hear it. But it only lasted a moment before his expression turned into something mournful. From there, he told us a bit about his past.
僕には最初から何もなかった。気づいたら両親はおらんくて、親戚やっちゅう人の言われるままにするしかなかった。どこに行っても僕は、その家の子にはなれんかった。当たり前やんな。僕はその人たちにとって、ただの厄介者に過ぎんかったんやから。僕は今まで誰にも愛されたことがなかった。誰にも必要とされてこなかった。せやから、僕に兄弟がおるって知った時は嬉しかった。ここにいていいって言われた時は嬉しかった。僕は一人やない。初めてそう思えた。
I'm gonna reload. I'm not gonna let you pry into his past, Mr. Wizard. Wizard was trying to probe into his past. This I could not abide, and I let him know it. But he didn't even spare me a glance. He simply kept watching Kaguya, awaiting an answer. Oh, they're gonna do it anyway. After a long silence, Kaguya finally spoke.
それは、
Next, we paid a visit to Snow White. His room was located on the second floor, the one with the vanity. I knocked on the door and he promptly responded.
誰？
Snow White, is that you?
アリス。ちょっと待ってて。
He didn't come to the door right away. Instead, I could hear him running around in there. Does he have the accent in this shot? Mm-hmm. She does.
お待たせ。こんな夜遅くにどうしたの？
So, really, like Kaguya said, when he found out about his brothers, he was chuffed. He was happy. So, he didn't know about the brothers. Same like how Gretel said. He's been with Yurika all his life. So he only became part of the brothers when he was adopted by Yurika's family. I really have my DID theory. I really think I'm correct. However, I don't understand how they're all presenting at the same time. Like, why are they all in like different places and everyone can see them as opposed to just one person? Like, well, how can they all see the personalities in different places when there's only supposedly one body? But otherwise, my DID theory would answer everything else. Yeah.
ここにいていいって言われた時は嬉しかった。
Wait. Maybe this one?
せやから僕に兄弟がおるって知った時は嬉しかった。
That's definitely the accent, yeah. But yeah, he has an accent. It's cute! I love his accent. After a solid 5 or so minutes had passed, he finally opened the door. For some reason, he was unusually out of breath, but I decided not to comment on that. Sorry to disturb you. Mr. Wizard was wondering if he could speak with you privately. I stepped back and gestured to the wizard beside me.
兄さん、お聞きしたいことがあるのですが、お時間少々よろしいですか？あ！
But Snow White slammed the door in our faces. Looks like that's a no.
白雪さん白雪さん
The wizard pounded impatiently on the door.
うるさい。
When Snow White finally opened the door, we both quietly took a step back.
で、話って何？
At last, he seemed willing to entertain our requests.
ありがとうございます。では早速。白雪さんとアリス嬢は婚約者の間柄でお間違いないでしょうか？
The wizard started with his default opening question.
うん、そうだね。
あなたのご兄弟全員が彼女の婚約者であることに疑念や不満はありますか？
随分とストレートに聞くんだね。
この質問に限っては変化球で聞いても仕方がないものですのでね。なんせこんなおかしな状況、過去に例を見ませんから。
True. Snow White nodded, smiling faintly.
そうだね。おかしいことだとは認めているよ。だけど、俺にはどうしようもない。アリスと婚約者であることに不満はないし、みんなのことも大事だ。なら、俺にできることは、アリスがどうするのかを待つだけだよ。
彼女が誰を選ぶのかをただ待つだけということ？
そうだよ。今言ったよね。
では結果として白雪さんが選ばれなくても恨みっこなしということで？
At this, Snow White closed his eyes.
アリスが選んだのなら、しようがない。
You agree that it's purely your choice? No, apparently. The words "nothing I can do" made me feel a tiny bit sad. Yes, I was currently engaged to 5 men, and I was free to marry any one of them. But if I didn't end up choosing him, would he truly be able to simply let it go? And if so, could he still claim to love me? I shook my head, pushing the painful thoughts from my mind. Then I looked up and made eye contact with Snow White.
まあ、俺を選んでくれるに越したことはないけれどね。
He smiled as if he had read my mind.
ちなみに、あなたはいつも家で何を？
何もしてない。本を読んでいるか、寝てるかのどちらかだよ。
家の外には出ないんですか？
出ない。
ちなみに、外の世界に憧れたことは？
At this, Snow White's icy countenance twitched slightly.
何が言いたいの？
白雪さん、あなたは亡くなられたお母様の第一発見者だったみたいですね。
Yeah.
過労がたたっての突然死だったようですね。
Oh, really?
大事なお母様を目の前で亡くし、さぞやショックだったでしょう。そのことが原因で引きこもるようになるのも無理はない。
どうして、君がそのことを知ってるの？
Snow White asked in a quiet voice. I couldn't speak. I could feel the tension in the air like static against my skin.
とある情報筋から。僕は探偵なので。
まるで、何でも知ってるみたいだ。君は魔法の鏡？
Snow White replied snidely, a rare glimpse of the emotions he generally kept under wraps.
ちなみに、他のご兄弟はお母様のことをご存知で？
Alright, yeah. The way they said it, like, did your other brothers know your mother? It's so the ID, right? It can't be anything but the ID. Eventually, Snow White caved to the wizard's persistent questioning.
かぐやとグレーテルは知らないの？
That's what I thought.
その時、彼らとは一緒に暮らしていなかったから。
That's what I thought. Cause if you think about it, like based on like the brothers, cause I was like thinking like clearly Kaguya looks older than Snow White, so how come Snow White is the second brother? But it makes sense if that's like when they appear. So first the dad and the mom lived happily with Cinderella. But then one day, the dad got into debts, and so he kicked their mom away along with the son, Cinderella at the time. And they lived in a shack. And then Snow White started appearing, I guess from the stress, the trauma induced from that and the shock. Snow White was with the mom and he was happy. But then the mom realized, hey, my kid seems different. And then she realized that there's two kids. So the kid has multiple personalities. And the mom's like, hey, you're special. Don't go out because they have multiple personalities. So it's really dangerous, I guess, for them to be out. I don't know. Or maybe the mom was shy about it. And then Red Riding Hood came because Snow White was so stressed out he couldn't go outside. And that was why whenever Snow White dreamed, it's actually that his presence took a step back and let Red Riding Hood front. And that way, Red Riding Hood fulfilled the social aspect of like going outside and meeting people and the grandma and the Wolfie. And then the mother died. So Snow White decided to bury the memory of the mom dying inside him. And that way they were all like, oh yeah, he took the sacrifice so that others wouldn't have to know about the memories. So he buried those memories and the Snow White self, retracted back in. And then once Snow White fell into a deep sleep, that's when Kaguya came in. And because they don't have any living relatives anymore, no mom anymore, after being saved by Ryoshi, they started getting put into different relatives' house. And that's Kaguya. And then Kaguya realized, oh, he wasn't alone. He still has like the other brothers, the other selves inside him. And then finally they got adopted into the Arisu household. And Gretel appeared. And that's why Gretel lived all his life with Yurika. Because he only appeared once he changed houses to Yurika. So it seems that they change personalities or they gain new personalities every time their living condition changes. This is my theory, but I feel like it's really good. Unless for the big glaring hole of why the fuck can everyone see each of the selves and all the selves can talk to each other and the wizard at the same time. Because I would understand if the splits can talk to each other, because yes, that's a thing. But Yurika shouldn't be able to interact with all of them at the same time. And the wizard shouldn't be able to do that as well. Unless they're part of the splits. They're also the split personalities. And then there's also Alice. Where the fuck does Alice go in? Because when Snow White looked into the mirror, he realized, oh, that's not my face. Because that is actually a thing in like real life cases of DID where the splits are confused as to why they don't look like what they thought they look like. Because it's the original body's looks, not what they look like. So I get that, and that's where like he's like, oh shit, I'm a split. But then where is Alice? Why is he not in this route? Earlier, I believe Yurika mentioned that Alice is lost in the darkness. So the original body, Alice, maybe, or Cinderella, maybe Alice, is lost inside. So yeah. I don't know, but this is so fascinating. You don't understand. Because I went into psychology because I played Amnesia, and the DID case in that was so interesting. It was so badly made, by the way. Like, DID cases in games and shows that present splits as dangerous people are actually very harmful to the community. But it made me so curious. Like, that's like a thing, you know? And but it's just crazy that I'm finding another DID otome. If this is actually if like my big brain theory is right. What if they are all Alice? Please no. I think so. I really think they're all in Alice's body. It's just that I'm confused as to why they can present like at the same time in different locations. Like they all have different bodies. Unless that's because they're in the looking glass world right now, where it is a dream. So that's why they have their own bodies. But then how did we, Yurika and the wizard, who are not part of the split, manage to be able to come into the looking glass world to interact with the brothers? So many questions. Anyways, that's just my theory. A game theory. But yeah. He spoke frankly.
では、シンデレラさんと赤ずきんさんは
知ってるよ。
では、彼らもお母様の死体を？
いや、彼らは見ていない。もしかしたら、赤ずきんは見たかもしれないけど。
Yeah, because except the glaring inconsistency of how they all have their own bodies, my theory really holds water, I think.
随分と曖昧なんですね。
君が言った通り、俺は引きこもりだからね。兄弟と話すことすら少ないんだ。それに、このことについては、
Makes sense.
むやみに触れないのが俺たちの暗黙の決まりだった。
Because DID is a condition that happens when a child, usually, what was it, under 12? I think it was under 12. I don't remember my DSM. But under 12 experiences like traumatic stress. And that causes their self, which wasn't fully formed yet, to fragment. And the fragments become the alters! That's the word! The alters! And the fragmented selves become alters. And they can share memories, but they can also not. So in the cases I've read, there's sometimes like alters like Snow White, who chooses to take the traumatic experience and like keep it. It's also often that there's alters like Red Riding Hood, who are like the protectors, who are the ones who chooses to protect themselves, like becoming the person they wish had saved them. So like a reliable self kind of thing. Oh man, I love this. Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna shut up. Sorry.
そうですか。ありがとうございます。
The wizard pressed a hand to his chest and gave a slight bow. Evidently, that was his final question.
ああ、そうだ。一つお聞きすることを忘れていました。すみませんが、あと一つだけよろしいですか？
He held up an index finger.
どうぞ。
Someone accepted it without batting an eye.
誰がお母様の死を伝えたんですか？
That is important. Yoshi? After a brief silence, Snow White stared into the distance.
シンデレラ兄さんには、俺が。
そうですか。わかりました。
Lastly, we paid a visit to the baby of the family, Gretel. The room was originally a summer kitchen, but because he was such a fan of sweets, he had since remodeled it into a living space, not like we were using it anyway. One half of the room was a fully furnished kitchen dining area, while the other half was packed full of bookshelves.
で、先ほどから兄さんたちのところで色々と聞いているようですが、僕にも同じ要件ですか？
Gretel sat on one end of the table, teacup in hand.
よくご存知で。
そりゃ僕の大事な姉さんをこんな夜中に連れ回しているんですから、気になりますよ。ただでさえ4人もライバルがいるんだ。それに、これ以上変な虫にはついてほしくないですし。
Sorry, we're on the wizard's shroud right now. Glaring, he set his cup down onto its saucer with a loud clack.
ということは、グレーテルさんもアリス城と婚約者の間柄ということでよろしいのですか？
はい、そうですよ。
He donned a winning smile and nodded.
お姉さんなのに？
At this, Gretel's smile stiffened. Don't trigger the yandere! But only for a moment.
義理ですし問題はないでしょ？あくまでこの家に預けられた時に形式上姉と弟の関係になっただけに過ぎない。
預けられたとおっしゃいましたが、あなたはいつ頃からこの家に？
もちろん生まれた時からですよ。
See?
あなたも知っての通り。
There is no way he's born there unless he's an altar. There's no way.
そうでした。ではあなたはなぜこの家に預けられたのでしょうか？
さあ、兄さんたちから聞く限りじゃ、僕の本当の両親はすでに死んでるかいなくなったみたいですけど、僕にとっては他人も同然ですから、どうでもいいです。
Yeah? Wait, what did I get? Sorry. I was too locked in. Ambertail, thank you for coming. Hi. Hi. How are you? I'm playing Taisho X Alice right now, and we're actually at a very plot-involved part of the game. So if anyone is going to try and play this by themselves, I highly recommend not watching further because this is like spoilers, very, very much spoilers. Hi! It's like almost 4 a.m. for me. That is really late. You were playing Soul Set. Oh, what is that game? I've never heard of that before. Is it good? We are EP. Oh no! Thank you for the raid despite being EP. Was the game fun?
僕にとっての家族は姉さんと兄さんたちだけですから。
A VN I got for free for the Fall in Love Fest. Oh, that's true. That's true. There's like a Fall in Love Fest right now. I haven't really found any games I want from there. Is there anything good? The games that are in there that I'm interested in, I already got and played. So I don't really have anything else. But I see, okay. I highly recommend The Silent Kingdom if you haven't played that. It's an RPG otome, and I remember you play RPGs a lot, or like games with fighting in general, right? If I remember correctly. Like I lurk in your stream sometimes. It ended on the 30th. Oh, it already ended. Yeah. The Silent Kingdom is a really good otome if you're interested. It has RPG elements to it, and it's a turn-based game, so it's super good. And the art is gorgeous.
なるほど。では質問を変えましょう。あなたは普段何をしていますか？
普通の学生生活を送ってますよ。朝起きて学校に通って、家に帰ったら新作のお菓子を作るか、受験勉強をするかのどちらかです。
Yes, the Silent Kingdom, yes! I know, I just don't have the money. Aw, what a shame. Yeah, what is it called? The price doesn't really get much of a discount. Where even though, I think it went on like only a 10% discount, so I totally get it. Honestly, it's also still in early access, and right now, as someone who has played the game, I am currently dying because they haven't continued it. So I think it is good that you can like wait before playing it. There's also a game called Mirage Noir, which is also super good, and it's only a demo right now, so it's free, and it's about you being a detective and you're solving crimes with other hot boys. It's really good. And the main character is actually really likable. And one of the love interests are a hacker, a prince, a mafia dude, and a streamer. So it's really interesting. I don't think I'm missing any guys. If I am missing any guys, then I will cry. But yeah, it's a really good game too. There's so many good otomes nowadays.
模範的な学生ですね。
模範的な学生ですから。
聞くところによると、あなたは以前学校で問題行動を起こしたことがあるそうですが。
Oh, so it is canon that he got into a bit of trouble at school.
それがどうかしましたか？
Gretel asked in a low growl.
いいえ。一見優等生に見えるあなたにも影はあるのだと思って。
探偵か何か知りませんが、プライバシーの侵害に当たるんじゃないんですか？
すみません。これも調査のうちでして。
I am off to bed, but you have fun. Thank you so much for coming by, even though you're sleepy. I hope you have a good night. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye. The wizard offered a strange smile and shrugged.
そんなことより、犯人探しの方はどうなんですか？僕たちに聞き回っているってことは、当然僕たちのことを疑っているわけですよね。しかも、姉さんまで連れて。白雪兄さんは僕たち兄弟の中に犯人がいるかもしれないと言ってましたが。
Gretel seemed reluctant to let the wizard control the conversation.
いたらどうします？もちろん、仮にの話です。もし君の家族であるご兄弟の誰かが彼女に脅迫状を送ったとしたら。
別にどうもしませんよ。
Really? What? No, real. Oh, I hate that my reactions are the same as Yurika's. This response caught me off guard. Hastily, I clapped a hand to my mouth. Gretel briefly glanced in my direction, then looked back to the wizard.
白雪兄さんが言ってたじゃないですか。この要求が叶って誰が得をするのかって考えれば、それは俺たち5人のうちの誰かでしかないって。僕たちはみんな、姉さんが好きなんです。でも、姉さんは今まで僕たちを選ぼうとしなかった。姉さんと結ばれるのは、一人だけなんです。みんなで仲良く。そりゃ楽しいですよ。でも、それって問題を見ないふりをしているだけですよね。脅迫状の送り主は、そんな凪のような状況に一石を投じたんです。そして、波紋が広がった。他の兄弟は言わないでしょうけど、僕としては、この状況は願ったり叶ったりですよ。
Really? Of course, it's Gretel. What do I expect?
これでようやく楽になれるんだって。
He scares
つま
me.
り、あなた方ご兄弟は、脅迫状の送り主は身内の誰かであると考えていて、そのことに対して心の内では感謝していたと。
恐怖でしたからね。姉さんの一番は誰だろうって。一番になれなければ意味がない。一番じゃなきゃ、姉さんに捨てられる。
I mean, he's not wrong, but I just don't like the way he says it. That's not
なら、他を殺して奪ってしまえばよかったのに。
wizard. What the fuck? The wizard cut in before I could finish my rebuttal.
シンデレラさんも白雪さんも赤ずきんさんもかぐやさんも
I have no words.
全員殺してあなただけが生き残って彼女を奪ってしまえばよかったのに。そしたら
This is
全部
insane.
自分のものになったのに。
Gretel, I gotta go, but I'll watch the rest later. Thank you for streaming. Bye. Thank you for coming, Night of Beauty. It was fun talking to you. Have a good day.
そう考えたことはありませんか？
Of course he has. Look at him. At this, Gretel fell silent. What was the significance of this pause? Confirmation? Denial? Hesitation? I couldn't tell.
そうしたとして、姉さんは僕を肯定しますか？
No! Bro, you know Gretel is capable of doing that, right? Like, he's thinking about it. No, absolutely not. Okay, actually, we're gonna say yes next time, just because I want to see what he answers. But I will leave this here as a little cliffhanger because I gotta change games to Glass Heart Princess with Unli in a bit. So yeah, thank you so much for watching Taisho x Alice. We will continue this most likely tomorrow or in 2 days, depending on how much I want to play Grand Bazaar tomorrow. But yeah, we'll continue this next time. And for now, I will be changing games to Glass Heart Princess. Be right back.